What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the surprise gameplay announcement and new reveal for Rebirth Island, which is returning in 2024. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also as a huge reminder, there's plenty of brand new coverage that's going up over on detonated.com for those out there who prefer articles over videos, and even plenty of tweets every single hour on Detonated's Twitter. Now, I'm fully aware that Warzone didn't have the best update with Season 1 Reloaded, and we'll get into why for those that are unaware in a couple of minutes, but a team out there has already completed Champion's Quest for the very first time over on Urzikstan. As I covered in my recent video, they went ahead and re-enabled that feature inside of Urzikstan following Warzone's patch, which allowed people to play again, because there was a fetching online profile loop that bugged everybody with the launch of Reloaded. Again, you can complete Champion's Quest or at least earn the contract by getting 5 wins in a row or just winning 30 total games within a single season. Now, I'll have an article going up soon and probably even a separate video on how the new Champion's Quest does work, but shout out to Breadman, Lulashi, as well as Twitty, and even Brelik. I probably butchered some names there, I do apologize, but then Raven followed up with a little bit of an explanation as to what happened with Reloaded and why Warzone was so broken, and I think it's a pretty important statement that does provide a good amount of clarity. So as they went ahead and said, we wanted to address the issues that players encountered during Reloaded. We've been laying the groundwork for the return of some fan favorite features in upcoming seasons, which has required a degree of preemptive setup in our live environment. Yesterday's update shipped with some of that work, and we unfortunately encountered a conflict between live player data and our servers. Our teams were made immediately aware of the issues and began investigating shortly after the update went live. We rallied studio teams from around the world to get these issues resolved as swiftly as possible. We, as devs, love this game and apologize for the disruption that resulted from these events. Please know that we hold ourselves to a high standard, and yesterday's issues did not align with that. With that said, we're also very excited for what's ahead and look forward to bringing the best we can to Warzone. So the first thing I want to say is that I'm really appreciative of this clarity, of this transparency with the entire community. I think these statements are really important, especially on days like what we just saw with Wednesday's Season 1 Reloaded, because it just allows people to understand why things may have broke the way they did. Oftentimes you see people that encounter a broken update and they're like, oh, a AAA studio, $1 billion company, and anytime we try to go ahead and just analyze what may have happened or talk about why it may not happen this way again, people automatically jump to, oh, you're a paid shill, you're defending them, and it's like, well, like I said on stream, I don't think any update that releases for MW3 moving forward will be as broken as the one we just saw. I do think they were testing a bunch of stuff. It's their first update following their holiday break, and it's the first major update of 2024, so I'm not really surprised this happened. I'm just happy that this didn't happen before they went on holiday break so that we wouldn't have a Vanguard scenario where we have to wait multiple weeks for some severe game-breaking bugs to get fixed. Notice how they went ahead and mentioned that they're testing new gameplay features which may have been added into the game's files and are just sitting in the back end, which may have played a part in breaking the game. They then followed up with another tweet saying, so anyway, what are some of the features we're preparing for well ahead of time, you ask? And it's this picture, as you guys can see, clearly showing a specialist perk package sitting on a tower. Now, the first takeaway is, okay, specialist perk packages are coming back into Warzone. I'm really hopeful that at some point multiplayer also gets this treatment where we either get specialist perks added into the experience or just the ability to loop certain kill streaks or even all kill streaks. That would be fantastic if you were able to do that. Not sure why MP doesn't have this, but it's cool at least Warzone is getting a bit of a perk update in 2024. This is something that has been asked for quite some time, and I'm aware there were some Warzone LTMs in the past like Power Grab that did have specialist-like abilities or systems incorporated into those modes that made it feel like you had specialist perks, even if they weren't exactly perks you earned. Could have just been rewards, could have just been some random buffs or bonuses. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be getting a specialist perk package for Warzone, and what I'm thinking is, yeah, we'll probably end up seeing new perks added in on top of this, but it'll end up being something where it incorporates the perks that already exist into the specialist package form. But they picked a very particular background for this image, and in case you guys didn't notice, that's actually the main tower that's right in front of the prison on Rebirth Island. So they went ahead and teased Rebirth Island and a new gameplay feature in a single tweet alone, and there's a lot we can take away from this. First off, I get why they posted an image like this, just to kind of take the discussion away from how broken Reloaded was and to hopefully generate more hype to help people forget about what happened with the mid-season update. I mean, I totally get the angle there marketing-wise, but remember the initial release dates for our 2024 Warzone maps include Fortune's Keep for early 2024, Rebirth for mid-2024, and then apparently this is something that hasn't been confirmed by Call of Duty, Verdansk is apparently going to be late 2024. And I don't really believe that one, even though the press keeps claiming that that's the case. I feel like Verdansk is coming in March 2025 to celebrate the 5-year anniversary. But maybe something changed here, following how crazy the Reloaded update was and looking at a lot of player feedback around the community. Maybe they've swapped some of these release dates here, and now they're going to end up dropping Rebirth Island before Fortune's Keep. What if this map is the one that comes out in early 2024, which I'm going to talk more about some accurate release dates later in this video. Maybe that's what happened here, and they figured, hey, people would rather see Rebirth first. Let's keep the player count as healthy as possible, and it probably makes the most sense to do Rebirth first, then Fortune's Keep after that to kind of keep things fresh maybe in the summer. But maybe saving Rebirth for the end of the year is also a better idea. Leave all your best bets on this down below in the comments. It's certainly a worthwhile debate. I'm also going to just acknowledge the fact that this image could just be a teaser for what is coming in mid-2024, which is closer to the summer. Maybe this isn't a sign that Rebirth is coming before Fortune's Keep. I just find it interesting that they decided to tease this image specifically and not put a specialist package on an image of Fortune's Keep, but they went with Rebirth, so maybe it means something, or maybe it doesn't. But if you guys are wondering what's going on with the weapon case and Covert Exfil features, which were initially marketed and confirmed for Season 1 Reloaded, but then unfortunately got delayed, so that's why it kind of ties into Rebirth a little bit. If Raven was listening to quote-unquote fan feedback or player feedback on content that hadn't come out yet, and they went ahead and pushed those features back, then who's to say that they couldn't also look at fan feedback about which Resurgence map should come back first, in which they'll go ahead and kind of pull the release date forward for Rebirth and drop it earlier than expected. Who actually knows? But in the recent patch notes for Reloaded, it is confirmed that we have to stay tuned for more information about these features, because Raven did mention they're going to be throwing them into a dedicated mode, not regular Battle Royale, even though I've already gone over this plenty on the recent podcast and in other videos. They should have just let these features release in BR first, get some actual fan feedback from people that have played the content, and then after that determine if these features should be in a separate mode. I just can't really think of what mode they'll put these features in. I mean, I guess that's cool, they're going to go ahead and do this, but at the same time, it's almost like, all right, you're making a DMZ LTM for Warzone then? Except it'll be even more hectic going for these cases, since a lot of people out there are going to know about it. There's a mode dedicated for it, whereas at least in DMZ, you had PvP and a bunch of other things you could do in the mode, aside from weapon cases, so you didn't always have every person in the lobby going for that objective, whereas this time you will. Now, the rewards for the weapon case did not leak out, which I think is great, because I don't even want to know what they are. I like the element of surprise, kind of going in, exfilling, seeing what you get, and then rinsing and repeating that a good 6-7 times or more. I'm excited for that whenever this does end up dropping, probably in Season 2, but new leaks did end up surfacing following the mid-Season 1 updates release, and there's plenty of new information about some upcoming Warzone content that I'm sure you guys are going to be intrigued about. So first off, the icons for Covert Exfil did get found, and they look pretty cool. There's one of a pretty detailed operator kind of running through to Exfil, and there's one of just like a red outline over the traditional Exfil icon that we're all accustomed to from DMZ, or even Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. But new quests were apparently added, and it's unclear what these are for or how they will work for Warzone. Are they for the weapon case mode? Are they for regular BR? It's a little unknown, but quests called Dragon, Vault, Hallway, Locked Room, Cursed, Race, and even Sandbox. Not sure what these could be. I'm gonna hope that they are for regular BR, but hey, at the end of the day, you could have either added the weapon case into Plunder, or you could ensure that all future quests going forward also get added to Plunder on top of maybe, let's say, a dedicated mode or regular BR. I'm down with them incorporating new Easter eggs and big quests across several different modes, not just one, just to give players variety in the case that one mode in particular is too sweaty or frustrating to complete those objectives in. So let's see, but we also have strings added in for weapon cases, so those are around the corner somewhere. And also there's apparently a bonus for witnessing the nuke go off in a lobby where somebody completes Champion's Quest. You also apparently get rewards for that on top of the ones you get for actually completing the quest yourself. And supposedly weapon trade stations that we saw during Rebirth's Vanguard lifecycle are apparently going to come back at some point in MW3 2024. And lastly, Fortune's Keep was added into the game's files, so the map is definitely being worked on. It's just a question mark as of right now as to which Resurgence map is coming out first. So the likely release windows that I talked about before include early 2024, which is probably Season 2, and no later than the beginning of Season 3. That's a window for Fortune's Keep, or maybe what could be Rebirth if they've pulled the map's release date forward. And then mid-2024 to me sounds like Season 4 and no later than the beginning beginning of Season 5, which could be, again, for either of those Resurgence maps. If you look at how they released Warzone maps last year, we had Ashika in Season 2, then Vandal in Season 4. They might follow that same pattern this time around again. As far as Verdansk goes, not confident that comes out for what is rumored to be the Black Ops Warzone integration in fall 2024. I just don't see that making much sense, and that's much better saved for, let's say, a 5-year anniversary celebration at some point in March of 2025. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on a surprise gameplay announcement for not just Rebirth Island, but even specialist perk packages into the current MW3 Warzone integration? Let me know all your thoughts down below. Really hope you've enjoyed, and should they release Rebirth before Fortune's Keep? Peace out, everybody.